Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next round table.
Perfect. Do that. No. Okay, fine. Hey, everyone. It is. Oh, jeez, that sucked. I don't know. I didn't start the last 2 or 3. I don't
Who
know
did?
How to do this anymore. Ooh, that's a good punt.
Are you nervous?
I just don't know what to say.
Do you want me to talk?
Sure.
Why don't you just do it?
That's fine. Hey, everyone out there. Time for another Next Level Ag Roundtable. We're short one guy, but we're going to handle it.
We're short the short guy.
This is very true. Nick, we love you. We know you're busy, so it's fine. We'll take care of it. I think we got all the bases covered sitting here as far as what we need to discuss today. We're going through deliveries of seed and liquid, so we're gearing up for the actual planting season of 2025, which is pretty exciting. Besides next level stuff, getting seed, liquid, everything in place, and getting precision projects wrapped up and ready to hit the field, we're all thinking of our own farms too. And trying to get ready for that, and thinking through all the plans that we have, making sure things will get in process as we start the season. So maybe start with Matt on what they're doing on the Condon Farm.
Well, we're doing quite a bit of stuff. I always get to be a guinea pig for Next Level Ag, which is kind of fun. But kind of sticking with some mainstay stuff. Obviously, with where we're at with the grain markets and the farm economy at the present time, we're going to try to focus on doing what we know works, sticking with that, being cognizant of the price and the cost of what we're putting out there. And that being said, there's things that are, I think, worth it no matter what our economics are. But and then we will definitely be trying a certain amount of stuff just to see where we're at. So on our farm, we really like the sugar beet starter. We've kind of proven that on our farm over the last 10 years. So we're going to stick with that. We're doing our kind of corn starter blend that we have been doing the last few years. So that's what our starter program kind of is. And then on our edible beans, the last couple of years, kind of with Nick doing a little research on that, we've gone to kind of like a half rate of sugar beet starter and furrow on our edibles, and I really like what we've seen there. So that's, I think, going to stay a part of the plan. One additional change we're going to make this year is we're going to add a little bit of high energy in with our carrier on our pre's for our corn, just to get a little extra available in right out of the chute, especially on some of our fall spreads. So that's one thing that we've played around with a little bit and seen some data from some other customers that we really like. So we're going to do a little bit of that, or I shouldn't say a little bit. We're going to do that on most of those acres. Just trying to put an extra about 20 pounds out there is what we're after. So we're going to do that. And I mean, as far as seed, we kind of are status quo. Sean can talk about what we're doing with seed, which is kind of a normal practice.
Yeah. We always, we have some great varieties, both LG and Axis, and what we always do is, do a lot of side-by-sides in the field with the new variety, similar maturity, that is going to be compared to a variety that's been performing really well over the last handful of years. And what we like to do is split planter. Plots are good. There's nothing wrong with plots, but we like to see stuff in a field environment where it's full length, full passes, things like that, across a quarter or whatever. Gives you a little more accurate data.
Hit all the soil types and variabilities that everything else is.
Yep, so that's something we've been doing for years, and it's something we're going to continue to do because there's new hybrids coming out that everyone's excited about, and we just want to see how they perform.
Yeah.
We really like to touch on that a little bit. We really like to try the seed on our farm before we sell it to anybody. So it doesn't always happen, but it's really nice to actually see it in a little bit more than 6 rows for a couple hundred feet. It's better to see it end to end, and then we're pretty confident then to tell somebody this new variety X is going to be just as good as the old variety Y that was really good for us for quite a few years. So
and you're not just basing that information off a plot. That's
it's nice to have that touch where we can actually try it out.
Right. So for the people out there that don't know how we do it, we kind of vet our projects through our varieties through the plots. We start at the plot. If it looks viable there, then we go to Condon Farms and a couple other of our really trusted clients that want to see that leading edge thing, so we'll put it up against what we know is great in a larger spectrum. And then it's going to have 2 to 3 years between plots and our farms before we're going to be putting it out to the broad customer portfolio in a big way, so that we know we're not going to have a flop in this area, because we've been there before and we don't need to do that again. So on my field, I've got 70 acres of my own that I'm doing all the what do you want to call it? Interesting?
Unconventional.
Unconventional. That's a good way to put it.
Unorthodox.
Nice way to put it. I do strip till, and that can bring in some different practices with the liquid fertility side of it. I always try to put a base down in the fall for the corn, and then we finish it with the liquid program in the spring. Just kind of plays all the cards of availability a little differently there, because maybe the moisture is not perfect to get all the availability out of a dry spread that we would be able to. So it's nice to have that mixture and actually have some split application too, just to see if the timing will benefit. So that on my side of it, I actually use what we call our sugar beet starter, which is a split of P and K, and then a little bit of micros. I use that as my corn mix to finish out the P and K needs for the year, and then we do 2x2 off the planter with high energy N to get. I think we're getting 60 to 80 pounds of nitrogen put on the spring in liquid, and then if needed, we'll go in season one more time. But usually that'll be enough. And I also do high energy N carrying the pre-emerge herbicide. So we're getting a good dose of nitrogen in the spring. We just do a base in the fall, try to mitigate any leaching or anything like that. So a little different practices there. It does take a little bit of storage and different capabilities on the planter than your traditional setup, but that's something that we're looking more into. There's a certain amount of people in this area that are looking towards doing things like that, and we are working with those practices as well, and trying to stay diversified in our products and our knowledge and everything else to keep up with what everyone else is trying out there. So as far as I think Sean or Matt touched on using high end with the pre's, that's something we didn't do a lot of in the last couple of years, but then last year with the moisture situation, we had a lot of leaching of nitrogen. So we've seen a few people make that adjustment to their plans this year to put at least a little bit on top to go right behind plant.
And it's not an extra pass. You can do it on a pass you're doing anyway. And I think that, touching back on the strip till thing, it's been nice to have obviously a lot of testing and trials and conventional approach to agriculture, and then looking at the new trends, or maybe you never know, someday maybe that'll be the new normal. But it's nice to have some research going on the strip till, no till stuff, so we kind of feel here we're touching all the bases, and we kind of, if somebody asks about that, we have experience in the field with it too.
And that's the benefit of AgriLiquid. We've got a couple of no-till customers too that, how else are you going to get fertility down in the root zone but to do a custom liquid blend that has the capabilities to pack 40 to 50 pounds each of P and K right in the furrow in the zone where the plant needs it. So in season, what are the things that you guys are doing, both with your beets, edibles? You got quite a few edible acres, and with your corn acres, what are you doing for in-season application?
Yeah, I think consistently overall, our corn acres have been pretty constant with the fungicide application, along with N response as a carrier, or as an additive to that. That's been pretty rock solid, and it's been pretty common practice in this area. But beets, kind of the same thing, just sticking with a foliar end product with our triazole, each triazole pass. We really like that. It gives us a little boost of not only fertility, but just making sure that it enhances that fungicide for scotchbur control, and the edibles too. We're making passes with the fungicide anyway, so we've been adding some Fertirain with that, and we feel like that really gives us a little extra boost late season to fill pods out. And that stuff all I think we're all going to do again, obviously depending on what the crop looks like when the time comes. But if it looks promising, we're probably going to make that investment again. It seems to pay back every time. So I think that, and if there's anything that anyone would like to see, I mean, I think it'd be great to get some interaction and say, hey, we'd really like to see a test of this or that. And obviously we can only do so many tests, but that's one thing we'd like to improve on, is getting a little bit more data out there for everybody.
And those applications for us, like Matt said, we're making the triazole pass anyway.
Exactly.
It's pretty easy to just dump in the
Been trying to build a program around not making extra passes.
Yeah.
If we need to, so be it. But if we can get to the end goal of our fertility program without adding additional passes, obviously that's cost effective. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. And I know you're probably doing more in-season passes maybe with the strip till stuff, or
We try to keep it to a reasonable amount. If we need another pass on nitrogen, we'll do it, but typically with the plan we have, we shouldn't need to unless the weather really seems to be robbing us of some of that nitrogen. But I've got the same plan. I've got a split of corn and beans, and same things there. When I'm doing a fungicide pass on the corn, I'm going to be putting in response with it. When I do it on the beans, I'm going to have Fertirain and our liquid brown sugar from Max Systems in there. Just two proven things that we've done in the past, and really seems to benefit both on the bean side of it with the brown sugar. I don't see the aphid counts that the neighbors usually do. There's some science behind that. It's not labeled for it, but there's some science behind the fact that the aphid does not have a pancreas, so it can't absorb or metabolize that sugar, and therefore my counts are never as high because they taste it and they get out of there. They're going to the neighbor's field, and well, then they have to spray it inside a pesticide on them to kill them
you're
off.
kind of not a very nice neighbor.
I know. You take care of it, not my problem. But and that we always get a benefit on the bushels too. It seems to return with that pass. It's a pretty low cost addition to what we're doing already. We've proven before the synergy between a fungicide and the nutrients wrapped with a flavanol polymer like AgroLiquid does. It just one or the other is helping each other into the plant, and they both do a better job, I think, and it always brings a good return. So that's what we're doing on it.
As far as that, I think just to touch a little bit on plots, we're going to do our normal corn plot. We're going to be doing an AgroLiquid IDC trial somewhere in the area.
Yes.
Where we're trying to find a product that can really help with our IDC troubles. That can maybe also be a dual purpose with some fertility, so we're working on that. So we'll see about that we've been doing that in the area for quite a few years. We're going to just keep working on that. But
Yeah, hopefully this will be the final test to prove that we've got something that'll work just as well as what the area has had before. So, and be a little bit more mixable. We'll see.
Right.
Hopefully it proves itself once again, and we can go full spectrum with it. So I think that's about it as far as what our plans are. Now the next step is to actually follow through on it and see what curveballs we get from from the weather and everything else, and see how it goes. So
you bet.
from all of us at Next Level Ag, we'll see you later.